This is the story of Robert Mallard and how his wife, Amy Mallard, was accused of his murder, although everyone who knew about the murder knows that she did not commit said murder. If you want to know more about this case, please continue watching.
You are watching Roll a Mile in My Shoes TV.
On November 20th, 1948, Robert Mallard, aka Duck, and his wife Amy Mallard was driving back to their home in Lyons County along with their son and two other relatives when their car was stopped in the road by a group of men in white robes. When Amy Mallard, Duck's wife, recognized one of the men, she called out to him, and this is when they unloaded bullets into the car, killing Mallard instantly. And when the police got there, they initially searched Amy Mallard. Instead of treating her like a victim, they treated her like a suspect instead of looking for suspects. And the detective that was on the scene who initially interacted with Amy Mallard was named R.E. Gray. And the mayor at the time, the governor at the time, Herman Talmadge, ordered the GBI to investigate, and the GBI subsequently showed up at Mallard's funeral and arrested his wife for the murder. I think this is so disgraceful because if many people go back to a lot of these cases when Governor Talmadge was the governor at the time, and he is also familiar in one of my cases that I covered earlier on this channel, which was the lynching at Morris Ford Bridge. He is known to be a white supremacist, and he did not believe that black people or the N-word people should have the right to vote at that time. And he promised that we wouldn't have the right to vote if as long as he was in office. And a lot of people, when they think about it, they believe that Mallard was shot because he wanted to and did cast his vote in an election that was going on that year. And even though Amy Mallard, his wife, was accused of his murder, she was let out of jail 9 hours after they had arrested her and accused her of his murder. You know, it is very strange to me also that she was indicted for his murder and treated like a suspect when the sheriff, R.E. Gray, arrived to the scene instead of being treated like a victim who had just saw her husband shot to death in front of her by these men in these white robes, which is known as the KKK, which is a white supremacist group that was really big and well known to many black people during that time because they wreaked a lot of havoc. And it is known that, they would stop black motorists on these roads at night and do exactly what they did to Robert Mallard and his wife. And I'm pretty sure they not only intended to kill him, but his whole entire family who were in that car. But unfortunately, he was the only one who was shot and killed. And I think it's really, disgraceful that they did this to her, treating her like a suspect, because it is also said that she was a school teacher, who were who was loved by her students. And I think that, a lot of times people get bent out of shape because of things like this. And it's also said that a lot of white people didn't take too kindly to Robert Mallard wanting to be called Mr., and they labeled him as an uppity N word, and they felt like he should be brought down a notch or two, because who are you to wanting to be called Mr. and show respect, even though you are a hard-working citizen in the South during this time? You have no right to be called Mr. anything. You should be just grateful with being called boy, and he should have to settle for this. And that's what a lot of white people thought during these times. Knowing that her husband had been the target of a murder, she feared for her life as well, because she knew who one of the men were that was in the white robes that night, who shot into the car and killed her husband. She moved to Savannah, Georgia, and basically went into hiding because she stated that she was in fear for her safety. And a man who lived in Savannah, he, found out she was there and gave her a job for so she could basically, work and make a living. And a lot of people, they weren't happy about that. So right after that, she moved her family to Buffalo, New York. The Ku Klux Klan burned down, or allegedly burned down, their old home in Lyons County. And soon after this, she was put in contact with the lawyer, and the lawyer agreed to help her with her case. And it is said that when she was in the courtroom and they started to have her describe how her husband was murdered, she dropped to her knees crying, oh Lord, why did they have to kill him? And, they had one of the jurors testify, and they claimed that her reputation and when she showed up to the courtroom with her lawyer, holding her arm with her baby in his other arm, a, a white person shouted out, "Don't this just make you sick?" And they also had him testify so that he could not leave the courtroom during the trial, which it only took them, I think they said, 20 minutes to pick a jury and, start the trial, which is very unheard of, in today's time anyway. But back then, things were done a whole lot different. And, just to remind you that, this was back in the 40s, so a lot of things were done different, especially with her being a black woman who is basically, trying to seek justice for the murder of her husband. You know, that was gonna put a target on her back anyway. But here she is shown with her lawyer holding her arm and her baby in his other arm. And a lot of people thought that this was a improper or sickening thing to do, seeing as he was a white man and she was a black person. But there were some good people during this time, and it just caused a circus around this man's murder. But even though two men surrendered in this case and the other five, were indicted, no one was ever charged for Robert Mallard's death and murder. And I think that this is so wrong because this family, basically never received any justice. And, it's just sad that many people were wronged because of the color of their skin. And it still goes on today, even in 2022. If you guys liked this video, please don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what you think of the case. And also feel free to leave me any case suggestions down in the comments that you would like for me to cover. Don't forget to press the like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching.